How to create a website for selling products. A lot of you guys may not know that actually building a website can drop conversions, and most frequently does. That is hard news and a hard fact. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to actually flip that around in the type of special, very, very special type of website that will massively increase your conversions. Let's dive in. Hey, so I actually grew up really techie. My dad is actually a world-renowned coder. He set a lot of standards for the industry in coding. Love Papa Larsen. He's the man. Okay, but I grew up really techie, and I remember when I first started learning coding, that's what I went into college for initially. I ended up switching, realized my brain doesn't like that. But I remember going in and learning more coding, and I started hiring coders to build websites. And first it was websites for other people, then it was for myself. And I could never get them to quite convert quite right. They're challenging. They're challenging. I eventually went and I started, after hiring all these freelancers and such, I saw funnel software. And I saw, that's what we call a sales-based website, a sales funnel. It's still a website. It's very, very different though in a few aspects that I'm gonna teach you about, okay? But I wanna just make this quick example here real fast that, guys, I am an internet entrepreneur. My whole business is on the internet. And I've crossed over $10 million and I don't have a website. I don't have a website at all. There's no website in my entire company. All right, I have blogs, and then besides that, I have sales funnels. And I'm gonna teach you inside this video what that actually means and why they're so much more effective than a website. Let's dive in. Hey guys, the first principle I wanna share with you, and this is real data, I'm not making this up, okay? But if you were to build a website for e-commerce, good e-commerce websites converted about 3%. Woohoo, that sucks. Okay, that means 3 out of every 100 people buy something when you build an e-commerce website. However, if you were to build a funnel, okay, e-commerce funnels convert 10 to 30%. I mean, it is a massive 3 to 10 times more just because of the page structure. So Steve, what does that mean? This is what it means. Okay, a website, it all has to do with how many exits there are in the page. Okay, if you look at a website, the standard website has this structure. How many places can you click to leave the page? You could click on anything in the navigation bar. Okay, you could click here, you could click here, you click there, right? There's all the stuff that's usually down the side. Look how holy that bucket is. Okay, that sucks. That's the reason why. Okay, that's overwhelmed. People don't know how to purchase because there's 1,000 ways to leave that page. It's kind of like if you go into the cereal aisle. Have you ever gone to the cereal aisle at a grocery store and you're just like looking because there's way too many options? Right? Nothing's guiding you towards a decision, right? Isn't that interesting? It's the same kind of thing. There's way too many options. And because of that, and there's one little spot in here that says buy, but look at all the excuses you're giving them to leave. Buying for you is too much of a decision? That's okay, you could escape through this one. You could escape here, you could escape. That's why websites suck. Caveat of that with funnels. Funnels have a single way to move forward. One. That's why they're so good. The only way for you to progress in this funnel is to either click the button or literally close the page, okay? And so what's cool about this is that you can really customize it to help the customer make a decision, right? That's why it's so big. 3% conversion rate, 30% conversion rate, okay? Oh my gosh, 10x sales just by changing page structure. That's why we're also obsessed with funnels, not websites. That's why I don't have a website. All right, now that you understand what an actual funnel is, and how it's so different. Well, we make fun of websites a lot, okay? In fact, I think Russell Brunson owns deathofawebsite.com or something like that. Super, super powerful. Love funnel stuff, okay? And you don't need to be a coder. I'm not a coder. I don't know how to do any kind of coding. I'm not a designer. I use a lot of different softwares that I can get a lot of stuff done for free or very cheap. So what you need to know now, though, is how to order your products. So what we do is, think about it like this. Now that you've said yes to the first thing, so I've just continued it over here. Now that you've said yes to the first thing and it's slightly cheap, right? What we want to do is, who's the best person to sell again? Someone who's already bought a product or someone who's never bought a product. Okay, I want you to write this down. The second yes is always easier than the first yes. So what we do is we put one of the cheap products right here in the front, and then after they actually have said yes, we ask them on the next page, do you want to add in one of these other things? Oh, we could add one more, or we could add 2 more, right? Or you could have none of them. And what they do is they click on one of those, and now what we've done is we've collected more money than if they just bought it off of Amazon, right? You don't add these upsells when you ever go to Amazon. You don't add those upsells when you go to usually like Shopify, stuff like that. This is one of the reasons why funnel software usually makes companies quite a bit more money. In fact, it's been proven, ClickFunnels numbers, someone who builds a funnel versus a website makes 540% more money than if they build a website with the same products. By the numbers, okay? That's in one of their ads. That's why they can say it. We did a lot of research on that. Holy smokes, for every dollar you're making on a website, you're doing 5 from a funnel. That's crazy. That's crazy. All right, you get to the millions really, really quickly like that. So what we do is we put the small or cheap stuff in the front, and then we gradually ask 1 or 2 upsells. Do you want things that are slightly more expensive, right? Then the next thing in there is a bit more expensive. And then finally we have a thank you page saying it's on the way. Now, what we do is this first page is usually pretty script heavy. We write a big script right here. So let's say that this is a big graph. The script itself, right? There's a lot of script in this part of the page. A lot of script, a lot of writing. Way less script here, way less script here, and then hardly any script at all on the last page. And what's cool about this, again, is because as we're increasing price, we're actually decreasing how long the script is, which is really quite an interesting relationship. But again, guess what? The third yes was easier than the second yes. And by the time you've actually gone through the whole checkout process, we have asked them to spend an average that is much higher than if they spent through a website. Now, the major reason why I'm telling you this is so that you understand that you're actually being a salesman. You're in sales when you're doing a sales funnel. When you are doing a website, we call it a brochure, okay? It's like standing on a street corner with a big stack of brochures and wondering why nobody's buying from you. But a funnel is like an automated salesperson. And I say that so that you know I'm in sales. I'm in sales. And every time I do something with a script, that is just salesmanship in copy. That's it. Salesmanship in words. That's all that is. And so if you don't approach this with that mentality, that's usually when someone's sales funnel doesn't work. Hey guys, before I show you the easiest way to triple your money, there's an opening. Hey guys, I want you to go ahead and click the subscribe button, hit the like button. We have spent a lot of time getting these videos out to you. I hope it's been valuable for you. Down in the comments down below, I'd like to know those of you guys who have been using a website and transitioned to a funnel. Tell me in the comments. I know a lot of you guys have done that. I did the same thing. I don't have a website anymore either. But for those of you guys who are like, hey, I took my sales from websites to funnels. What did that do to your sales? Hey guys, I want to show you real quick also the easiest way to triple your cash. I'm not just throwing that number out there. A lot of people do, okay? A lot of people do. This is not some far-fetched thing. I want to teach you real quick how to follow up better. And this is exactly how we use it on a funnel. The first thing is I want to tell you about something I call a warm-up sequence. So the warm-up sequence is a series of emails or some kind of communication that you are putting out to your list, if you have a list. If you don't, you still can do it on your Facebook profile. So think of these as Facebook profile, social media posts. Okay, but the whole concept is you're putting out 3 to 5 at least pieces of content that let people know that something is on the way. Okay, this is the equivalent of a small little pre-launch. And so what we do is we put out all these little tiny pieces of content saying, hey, this URL, it's coming soon, right? And what we do is we build up some pressure, we build up some anticipation, some excitement. And we say, here it comes, here it comes, here it comes, here it comes, bam, here's the link, go, 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 go. And what's cool about that is you end up getting a lot of attention and dumping it onto the first page. And it lets you capture a lot of sales faster than if you just announced it. For example, imagine Hollywood spends hundreds of millions of dollars to put a movie on, right? They go and they create this movie. And the first time you ever heard about it was the day it came out in movie theaters. Let's say they did no announcing at all. How well do you think that movie would be, right? How big do you think box office week would be if they spent no time talking about it until the day it was available? Eesh, that would suck, right? I mean, we can all just say, like, yeah, they're probably not going to have millions of dollars on box office weekend, right? Hundreds of millions. And so that's what we're trying to create here is a little bit of a pre-campaign, a little warm-up phase saying, here it comes, here it comes, here it comes, here it comes, and then bam, the day that it's actually available, you get this big influx of buyers. That's one of the first ways to ensure that the funnel is successful, right? You still got to go do the footwork. The second way is like this. Follow up. Fortune is in the follow-up, and that's a true statement, my friend. That's a true statement. So let me walk you through this. I know this is getting messy, but stick with me, okay? What we do is whenever somebody decides to come in and do the first step of the funnel, what we do is we add them to a list. And the list right here is just a list of buyers or opt-ins, okay, whatever's happened. If they've bought, then we call it a list of buyers. And all I'm doing is every single day for the next 5 days, I'm just gonna drop out an email, right? So this is gonna go out immediately at 0 hours. This is gonna go out at 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. And all I'm gonna do is very, very softly remind them, did you know that you could come back to the sales funnel and continue to buy one of the things inside of it? It's amazing how much money we do. I actually, I'll tell you that by the numbers of our own sales funnels, if we don't put in a little follow-up sequence like this that drives people back to the sales funnel, to the upsells, we literally get 50% of the sales. 50% of sales we would have gotten. We double by having this follow-up sequence. And then when we ever add one of these warm-up sequences, so I call it, this is the warm-up sequence and this is the follow-up sequence. And by adding those pieces in, one of the fastest ways to ensure that your sales funnel makes money. Hey, what I just said was a lot of stuff, and I want to give you a free gift to help implement all the confusing, crazy stuff I was just drawing. Go to OFA Signup, ofasignup.com. It is in the description as well as the first comment. And what you're gonna get is, I mean, we're gonna talk more about this funnel stuff I was talking about, but really it's all these little tiny other skills that are very helpful that help you do what I just drew. And so it's free, just put in your email and it's a small 5-day little follow-up sequence, which you just saw me draw. You're gonna see there, it's free and it will teach you how to go implement what we just taught.